this edition. I'm Todd Plesner, here along with Debbie Giordano.
How are you?
I'm terrific.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year to you as well. 2014 is here, and so we're off and running. We're glad folks have joined us here on Channel 26 and have tuned in. And we like to bring folks exciting news about what's happening around Milpitas. And to that end, we have guests that come in and join us and talk about things of interest. And so would you like to introduce our guest today?
I would love to. It's a personal friend of mine, well over 25 years, and we've been connected through real estate. This is John Luke. He's with GD Commercial Real Estate. John's been involved heavily in the city of Milpitas. And John, you've lived here for quite a while, haven't you?
Oh, I've been living in this city since 75.
I bet we've known each other since that time, too. I think it was an open house that we met each other at. So, well, let's begin. John, tell us about yourself and where you grew up, and tell us about your family.
Well, I grew up in Hong Kong, and I got my nursing diploma and degree from England. Worked for one of the largest hospitals in Hong Kong, and I moved to U.S. in 1975, and then worked for Kaiser Hospital, and been in charge of the emergency room for over 15 years, and then raised my family, married in 1977, and have 2 children. My son is now 33, works for AOL, and my daughter works in Seattle as a mechanical engineer. I'm very happy they're all growing up in the local area in Milpitas, went to school, everything in Milpitas. And my wife went to school in Milpitas as well.
I'll be darned. I did that. I did not. Got to know a little bit more about you.
Right, yeah, local roots are very deep, you know.
Okay.
Oh, terrific. Well, that's terrific. So you've got a background then in the medical industry. What is it that led you into commercial real estate, and what's the education and training that you had to pursue to be successful there?
Now, what happened when I was in the medical field, I volunteered for a lot of the Chinese farmers in the Bay Area. And that time they were in the 70s, 80s, they were in North San Jose area where the regional post office is.
Okay.
So I helped them with the hospital need, legal need, and so I get involved in the community service for them. And then as time, they are migrating to Gilroy, Morgan Hill. So they're talking about real estate. They ask me real estate questions.
Wow.
So I think, well, I should think about a real estate career. But then I find this land development experience quite challenging and interesting, and that's why I'm determined to get into commercial real estate.
So did you begin as a real estate broker, and then what's different in terms of licensing for commercial real estate?
There's no special licensing, but of course you always start buying and selling a house, right, to your family first, right? And then, but then I make up my mind. I want to get into the commercial arena,
Okay. So now, when you work with commercial buyers and sellers, are you working with existing commercial properties? Are you helping folks develop new properties, repurpose or reuse those? What sort of role do you play there?
Well, originally, I was representing some of the Chinese farmers to sell their land where there's some kind of rezoning or entitlement, but I typically work with some of the home builders. A long time ago, over 25 years ago, I worked with Summer Hill Homes. And it's kind of get into this, representing a seller or looking at the developer. So it's challenging because those deals take years to close.
Right.
And I learned my lesson. Don't count on your commission until the deal is closed. But I learned the patience. I find it fascinating, involving in the process,
right.
and learn it right,
Well, John, I know your name is very well known in the community and very well revered. How is the Milpitas market different, say? We just talked offline before we came into the studio about different projects that are going up in the city. What's unique about Milpitas?
Well, since I've been living in this city for so long and have a strong emotional attachment, and I happen to build some of the project myself in Milpitas, and I think the area, I think I can beautify or add value or be an economic engine. And also, I find this city is very friendly, very, it's kind of progressive. And also it's so convenient, accessible from the East Bay and the South Bay.
Okay.
And I believe the daytime population here is just tremendous. You have so many employees, the high-tech industry. But at that time, 20 years ago, there's not that many good restaurants and all this stuff in Milpitas,
Well,
right?
it's really changed, yeah.
Yes.
Right. And so how have you seen the commercial real estate business and market here in Milpitas change over the course of years? Are things different today than they were when you got started?
Well, when I started in 1996 and being the marketing director for Milpitas Square at 880 and 237, there's no Chinese restaurant over 10,000 square feet.
Really?
And there's no Chinese supermarket over 20,000 square feet. And now with a big supermarket, with a big restaurant, it just makes it so attractive, and people drive 1 hour to visit Milpitas.
All right. Let's talk about your career. So what challenges have you, you talked about don't count on the commission until it's closed. I have the same deal. That's a challenge. What other challenges do you find in the commercial real estate industry for you? So.
There are different aspects of the commercial activities. When you get into a leasing situation, it can be frustrating finding the right tenant for the property. So repositioning an old shopping center or creating a new shopping center, the tenancies, it takes a lot of work to figure out who's the right tenant to move in the mall or to move into a building, So my challenges is when we look at a piece of land or we look at a building, what can we do? How can we add value? What is the right tenant, And so I really specialize in tenant representation.
You develop your marketing plan around that creation. You have to develop that and then market that, obviously.
Yes. And we vitalize our old shopping center by injecting a more exciting tenants there. Yeah, that to me is very, very challenging.
Okay, all right. Sounds like fun.
Recently, I put a 85 Degree C, which is an international bakery company in Taiwan and in Asia. We opened up in Newark because they couldn't find a spot in Milpitas. I still would not give up. I still want to find them a right spot. But they opened up, people had to wait for 5 hours to buy bread.
Wow.
That's something I want to put them in Milpitas.
Right. Well, good. Well, it sounds like you get a lot of enjoyment, a lot of rewards out of your work as well. What is it that you really find most compelling about the work that you do?
Well, especially when I look at our growing Asian demographic, but I don't see that many Asian brokers involved in commercial aspect. And so that arena is not really served by the Asian realtors. So I think I feel some void. You're able to give some developer some pointer, some guidance.
Okay. That would make sense. I got to talk about. Thank you for sharing that. You're a planning commissioner for the city of Milpitas, and how long have you been on the planning commission?
This is my 4th year, my final year.
Okay, well, final. You can apply again, but I want to thank you. I love it when folks not only work in the community, but come back and serve the community. And that's a tough job. I mean, you're planning for the city's growth, and you're planning on, you know, how I think your key, your role, what you bring to the table as a planning commissioner is great, John. And so, how are you able to fill that capacity with the hat that you're wearing as a commercial broker?
Well, it's a balancing act, but the good thing is, since I know the city so well, almost every single corner like you, right? I'm familiar with different commercial locations where they need help.
You probably don't even need to drive the location, you know just where it's at.
Exactly.
No.
And being a planning commissioner, I more get into the land use situation. That's our key assignment, to evaluate the land use. And many projects that come through to us is, you know, the big project on Montague, the Wigmore area, where there's a lot of housing element or some mixed-use element. Even I look at challenges, you know, Midtown or Main Street. How can we build up, you know, the Main Street is a key attraction for our city, right? So sometimes I think about it, what are the challenges? How can we overcome? How can we put all the small parcels together and create some kind of a meaningful project, you know?
Oh, good. Good. So you mentioned the Main Street and the transit corridor as
Right.
as a goal or a project that's working on. What are some of the other objectives within the Planning Commission that you see as important to the future of Milpitas?
Good question.
Yeah, a couple of years ago, I worked with James Lindsay and the planning commissioners, and they have a minibus. We drove around in different commercial locations, including the Murphy's building, some of the obsolete, kind of vacant, you know, commercial building, what the city can do something, or what we can do as a planning commissioner, right? Looking at this, you know, some of the depressed area. Even when we go into the McCarthy Ranch, there's a lot of empty boxes. How we can revitalize those areas. So that I feel very proud of providing that momentum, you know.
So it sounds to me the 4 years you've served on the committee, you've watched the city change and the direction and the growth that it's going. Where do you see the future of the direction of the city? Where do you see it heading? We know BART's coming in. That will definitely change the footprint and traffic flow in the city. But what other things do you see, John, in terms of the direction of the city?
I think we can be becoming more economically vibrant as long as we don't stop attracting the right kind of development opportunities or revitalize those depressed areas. Right now, we were talking about how to master plan California Circle, right?
Right.
It's been like a perennial headache, you know, how do we develop it, right? So I think I can make some contribution or look at the guidelines of potential vision, you know, visioning, you know, provide the visioning for the city.
For economics.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Good. Well, you talk about vision and you're kind of looking out to the future for Milpitas. What sort of goals or future vision do you see for Milpitas in terms of the role of commercial real estate in the commercial market here in town?
I think we are very proud in the fact that Milpitas, we do